everyone. I'm delighted to be here and joined by our very esteemed panel. If I may introduce Dr. Kobsak Pootrakool, Director and Senior Executive Vice President, Bangkok Bank, and Mr. Panote Sirivadhanabhakdi, Group CEO, Frasers Property Limited. I may call you Kun Panote, as we normally refer to each other. Thank you for joining us. Over the next 20 minutes or so, we'd love to hear from our panel and have a discussion around powering businesses for a greener future. Just to set the context, financial institutions are playing a very key role in driving ASEAN industries towards a greener economy, aligning economic prosperity with sustainability. Our panel this evening discusses the risks and the opportunities for global investors and businesses as the region moves towards achieving their net zero ambitions. So let me start with some really kind of broad questions, if I may. Dr. Kobsak, let me start with you. What are some of the key challenges for business leaders when it comes to achieving green growth in Southeast Asia?
Sure. I would like to begin by introducing myself. I work for Bangkok Bank, one of the largest bank in Southeast Asia, number one in Thailand, of course. And I work as an economist. So let me begin from overall picture, and we can come down to what the bank have done. I think our challenge for the moment is that we are in one of the most important transition. It is the transition to the low carbon economy. And the key challenge from my point of view is that we at this point in time, our goals are too ambitious. We are likely to fail. Let's say the truth. I think people don't care enough. They don't know. They don't pay attention. And they also think that the investment that they have done still have a useful life. It's not easy for them to let go of those power plants that they just built over the last 10 years. So in that way, in Southeast Asia, in Asia, it will be likely that it will be hard to meet the target, I think. And we will probably overshoot the target that has been set up by all the government, and we have to live with the consequence for quite some time. So the question for the government is, how do we ensure that we meet this goal? That's the key question. How we overcome the challenge. We have done in four parts. First, I think our government in Thailand give an incentive. We try to incentivize people to pay more attention to green business. For example, we give them the rating, the ESG rating. We also give them the incentive to invest in ESG fund. We just increased the limit last year and probably this year again to incentivize people to give people to do good things, right? Green loan, green bond. Second, we also try to enlighten them. Enlighten them that it's good for the business to be green. I mean, it can be your advantage to work for the environment, and many companies do that things. But at the end, you know what? The incentive we give to them, and also the enlightenment we give to them, is not enough. I mean, it's not enough. Now we try to punish them. Our colleague from UOB already told you about the Climate Change Act. It is the aim of the government. I used to be in the government. It is the aim of the government to write a new law, going to be passed this year, next year, right? And it will give the government to do 3 or 4 things. That's very important. The first thing is to give the power for the government to ask for the number. I mean, the reporting is very difficult. I mean, nowadays, we try to ask for the company to report to us truthfully about how much carbon emission you have, right? They lie. we can speak the truth, right? Yes. They give too low a number. So from now on, we will give the government agency the key power to request for that number truthfully. That's very important beginning. And then we also give them the ability to tax them. The carbon tax is coming. They have been talking about this for quite some time. And the carbon tax will come along with the ability to do something like CBAM. I talked to a person who writing the law. He said that if you have CBAM, Thailand, we also have to comply. Once we comply, then we will not be competitive against our neighboring country. So in that way, we also have to use the same capability to impose the fee on the neighboring country, sending the product to Thailand. And we also planning on the market for carbon credit and also other capabilities. So this is the way. I mean, I think we'll try our best to meet the target, or at least stay close to the target. That is our challenge.
Thank you, Dr. Kobsak. Kun Panote?
Couldn't agree more that the way he has said it, it's making me more alert to what I have to be doing. But as the question stated, the risk is definitely aligned with Dr. Kobsak, how we are not doing it enough and we cannot do it alone. So the journey to us as a real estate sector, it's, even though we are not the initial creator, but we actually end our development with one of the most carbon contribution in terms of concrete and steel is part of the product, even though we are building the objective that will align with sustainability, because we want to aim to improve quality of life. We want to aim to achieve the understanding of how we develop for the world. And being part, it's important to understand cost implication and timeline, and being credible in what we able to track. And that's where the initiative started for us since the listing day as well, 2016. But we able to set our framework to science-based approach, and that have let us see the early challenge as well. But we view as the business of long term. We not invest in a real estate project. We invest in a real estate life cycle. We see the most important risk of us is the obsolescence. So if we understand the full life cycle, then what we are seeing the world, everything we does come full circle. So the aim to achieve the objective of what we do can be simple, but when we're looking at science-based stage 1 and 2, we put our process in, we track our numbers. But when it comes to third phase, we have to work with our supply chain. That's where we start to see how we build into like-minded, how Dr. Kobsak has mentioned, the playing field, the regulator that help to frame the achievable target that the organization need, that the country need, and that the world needed. We already stated as how global warming now is global boiling. So it has seen the statistic of it's proven that we are not doing fast enough. It is a key risk in our view, and we aim as well that what we do in collaboration with Bangkok Bank as well has gone beyond Bangkok already, or Thailand already. Yes. That we work on the green loan together in Australia, in UK, throughout the last, just within 7-8 years here, we're able to achieve sustainable green loans to over 13.5 billion Sing already. So early adaptation of sustainability does pay off. Is who started first. We objectively see the value of what we create, and we seen, eventually we want to be in a market that's more regulated as well. That's a real estate comfort as well, stability, value creation. So where there are risks, there are opportunity, and the challenge is in innovation and value creation.
Thank you. If I may just follow up on something you mentioned there. Frasers Property, very large footprint. across not just Asia Pacific, but the world. How do you ensure that your partners and those who work with you are adhering to some of the sustainability principles, but also putting it into practice?
It's complex. We growing before the full plan of carbon neutral target was set. And when we start to review the process, we start to realize as well that we have to continue to, in any organization, in my view, simplify our portfolio, understanding the value chain, and sustainability help us to filter what's relevant for us in the long term. It become a pillar of to me, a simplification of our portfolio. It's but we still see the large footprint and diversity, in investing in 20 countries, in over 40 cities in the world, in 5 asset class. It's a part of what we see how we can learn from each other. How we seen as well of more progressive, whether it's Europe or Australia or even Singapore. Now we have more inspiration to do that for Thailand as well. And as discussed here, we're looking for better regulatory approach, and we want to making sure what we do realize the value to end customer first. So the big value of collaborative, of knowledge sharing has been progressive for us.
That's wonderful to hear. I come back and would love to hear from you on some of the plans you have for later this year. But if I may, Dr. Kobsak, we've talked frequently about regulatory requirements, and there are some very key regulatory requirements coming up. You mentioned CBAM. How does Bangkok Bank actually develop products to support the transition finance?
I think the bank have been working very hard on the journey to make the supply chain to become green or greener. I think the regulation have been forcing on the bank to play a key role. I mean, if you think about this, banking business is a service one, so we don't emit too many carbon dioxide, but our clients emit a lot. So I think the regulator know this. They know that if there was a leverage point in the system that can change the whole things, it would be the financial system. We are the one who have the access to our big portfolio or the company, right? And the journey to the present day have come in step. I mean, when I look back, it came probably maybe 7-8 years ago as under the name of responsible lending. They said you have to be responsible giving out loan, and at that time, so something like don't give the loan to coal power plant. That's what they asked us to do. Or if you're planning to give one, please give more money so that they have better technology, so that it will not destroy the environment. That's what we have done for some certain time, right? So our dam, we give some more money so they have the bridge for the fish to go over, 10% more for the fish to be nice to biodiversity, right? And then later on, the game have up the step. It's come in the name of ESG rating. So all the investors keep on asking, what are you doing in terms of ESG, right? How many green loans you have given? How many green bonds you have been underwriting? So in that way, Bangkok Bank is probably number one in this area. We underwrite almost 2/3 of the green bond in Thailand. And green loan, we definitely give out all the solar plant or the environment friendly. And then later on, it's also getting tougher. Now they feel that it's not enough, so that now they come with the green taxonomy. They have come up with all this regulation with nice words, and they require the bank to develop the product and then work with the clients to solve this problem, right? So now we're starting thinking of scope 1, scope 2, scope 3, and then they give us a practice of 2 sectors, energy and transportation. But they told us more will come later on, so you be ready. So now we're working with our clients to really identify how you measure the emission, and at the same time we provide them the right financing so that they can really change their operations. It's very, very important because this will demand a lot of money. The national power plan to move from fossil into renewable will definitely more than 1 trillion baht in terms of loan that we going to be given out, multi-trillions. And at the same time, to change the factory individually from the old way of producing into a new one, more efficient one, also a lot of money. So we're also preparing a transformation loan to help them. And finally, lately, people are talking about CBAM. At first, we don't know about what is CBAM, right? We thought, well, let's see what it is. But now it's very clear to the bank and to our clients that if we don't comply, we will have a big problem. I mean, it's not only the EU who will impose CBAM. It is the US, the UK, Japan, Korea, and many more. It means that if you don't change now, 2 years later, you cannot send the product to the key market around the world. But if you change, then you will have an early start of 1 or 2 years. The market will belong to you. And I can guarantee you that many companies don't care much enough about CBAM at this point in time. They don't prepare. So if we can get our clients to prepare themselves for CBAM, that will be a key advantage. So that's what we working on. So I think the bank has been working closely, developing the product in response to this changing regulation. And it's good business.
It is good business, and a deadline is looming large.
Yeah.
So what the bank is doing is really important. Khun Panote, a lot of innovative design, a lot of progressive thinking, including technology, that Frasers Property is introducing into many of your projects. How do you see this kind of playing out? And what are some of the areas that you as a company are really focused on?
I mean, what Dr. Kobsak mentioned in lens of regulatory and CBAM as well, it translates to how credible the data is, as has been said here. I mean, the part beyond what we do to collect data and track ourselves over our carbon neutral goals. We've seen, even through what we put discipline on ourselves over the green loans, we're able to leverage on the investment of sustainability. We have continued to track year by year on the outcome through GRASP. We also continue to certify our real estate assets with the local certification because it matches over the tracks and requirements, how we move our assets to carbon neutral. My view, the innovation does come from not R&D and technology only. The innovation comes from collaboration. And that's what we able to work together to the cement producer to direct into our sourcing process and allow us to understand how we innovate together. We work with Siam Cement Group, which is the largest cement producer in Thailand, creating a new cement recipe that would produce low heat concrete that emits less carbon. But that technology come together in a combined strength that we did the largest concrete pour in one of the in about 4 different plates in one Bangkok, which become the largest concrete pouring in Southeast Asia. Wow. So it took a continuous pouring of 33 days in the journey to build the new foundation for the project. That's after 12 years of the journey, we work with supplier and supply chain management in understanding. Together with Siam Cement, we able to repurpose the waste concrete on the piling that consolidate together. We built an entire multi-purpose building within One Bangkok as well. So if we didn't have the producer that align and see the journey, that we would share the contribution to get together and win together. And all those objectives, with the projects that we set the highest mark of sustainability, like One Bangkok. It's defined now as a sign certified of LEED Neighborhood Platinum, which is the first that has been signed approved as a LEED Neighborhood Platinum project in Southeast Asia. We're the first project that look ourselves beyond just sustainability green. We did Platinum Y score, we did WELL standard building. It's all about digitization and quality of life within the physical real estate. I think all of those, when you talk about sustainability, we look at holistically as ESG. We look as finding way as well. At the end, we need to work not only with the integrated supplier, but customer. We also see the biggest partner like Bangkok Bank as well, seeing the trends as we talk about, and real estate is important to take the journey together in a long run. In the innovation of sustainability, we believe a lot in circular economy. At One Bangkok is the new mark that we able to recycle construction waste up to 75%. We have worked on together to bring in new technology into the large city mixed use. We do convert 100% food waste on site that convert into fertilizer. In Singapore, we also are able to work with government to do a brownfield conversion of district cooling, and that's also take the journey for us to do the first greenfield district cooling for One Bangkok. So all those things continue to inspire us to believe that we have more to do, and it will pay off. And like Dr. Kobsak said, it's a good investment.
Yes.
I'm excited. Will we be the first to hear as to when you're launching One Bangkok?
Yes. So we are seeing our full first phase in fourth quarter this year. As we have been journey through the last 15 years outside Thailand, the knowledge now has bring back as well, and that's been good expert in driving the value of the projects together. It's coming up in the first stage of office building, in people moving in, and retail, hotels, and all the connected public space will fully be open end of this year.
Wonderful. Well, I'm sure our guests here and all of us will be looking forward to experiencing it and seeing it.
Thank you.
We've got a couple of minutes left, and I wanted to make sure that I offer both you gentlemen some final words. Dr. Kobsak?
I think the green transition can be very exciting. I think a lot of opportunities. Don't think of it as the cost. Think of it as an opportunities. From what we have been working on with our clients, I think the big one do very well. The big one. A smaller one have some problem. I think we have to help support them. I mean, the whole supply chain is not only the top, right? It is the whole thing that cascade down. The further you go down the supply chain, the harder to change. And I think it is the role of the bank to help them. For example, let's take SEVP. We have to understand it as a bank, what it is. We have to make sure that our staff understand it, our relationship manager understand it. We have to make sure that they go to our clients and tell the clients what it is, what is the implication. And at the end, we have to convince the clients that you have to change now so that you will be competitive later on, right? This is very important task, but if you can do it, it can be your opportunities.
Thank you. Good, Panote?
No, and it's what we have discussed, and the biggest challenge as we are trying to achieve is scope 3, and we cannot do it alone. It's important that the journey like Bloomberg platform, it connect us, right? It's allow us to see how we can do it better together. It's in view of the group believe in the evolving of circular economy. It believe in understanding, as I mentioned, the value life cycle, and it's become more important than concrete and steel. It's important as we connect better, collaborate better, and the last part is we do all of this in view of the objective of the purpose of our company. We want to truly improve the quality of life.
Thank you. Well, those are wonderful words to end with. Thank you so much. This concludes our kind of formal part of the evening, and I really just want to take a moment to thank.
Can I ask a small question, if it is okay?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, so just a quick brief, like myself, Anuj, I run Al-Caesar Foundation, which is primarily working with indigenous local people for venture building and investing. So I heard Unilever are bigger companies as well. Just to give a small anecdote, I'm sure like we are talking about a sustainable business conference. Top 10 corporates, 30% of plastic pollution comes from them. They are not responsible. Second, we are talking about cocoa. Europe has never grown a single piece of cocoa, but they control the whole value chain of cocoa. And we are talking about $460 billion of worth of cocoa produced. And Ghana, Ivory Coast, Indonesia do not get even 1% of the produce price. So if we have to talk about sustainability, we have to talk about green future. Even Singapore, we import sand from riverbeds, which is the most crucial thing. What we are doing for that? So we need to be a little bit more holistic when we are talking about this kind of thing, so that we are actually not in denial for something which is on our face. If you're talking about a proper earth to be saved, we need to be more holistic and talking about this thing rather than too much good and being in bubble.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. We have a whole day of a program tomorrow. That we'll be discussing and debating this with some, very illustrious and esteemed speakers. But thank you for sharing your thoughts. We have an hour of networking, so please do join us for some drinks and food. And I'm sure you'd love to continue this conversation outside. But please join me in thanking my panelists, and thank you, Dr. Kobsak and Kun Panote. Just a quick reminder, our program starts at 8:30 for registration tomorrow morning. So looking forward to seeing you all tomorrow morning and a full day of some really nice discussions. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.